through now for some reason. I don't know why. Why does it still think I'm offline? I don't know. I wasn't. Because I'm an idiot. Just gotta wait for it, I guess. Alright, might have it now. Okay, I think I got it. Good. Alright. So, I get that. I need to get my thing going. Be sure that things are posted out. Now we got it. Wait, what? Why is chat disabled? Excuse me? Hang on. Unless this was the other thing. No, this is something else. Hold on a second. I'm missing something. Something's going on that shouldn't be going on. There's chat. Jeez. I don't know why this is so difficult. Okay. All right, so that might work for us now. We're doing stuff. The paint's gonna dry by the time I'm ready to friggin' go. All right. So that's there, and that's there, and I don't need that there anymore. That should be all I need. Okay then. Now that took way too damn long. Hey everybody, Ben here from Cinder Studios, and welcome to Live Art Hangout 58? Sure, 58, that's what it says. So that's what we're going with. I am continuing to work on this collaborative piece tonight, though my collaborative partner is not here. And hopefully I'm not going to do something stupid like block the canvas. I'm actually not sure. I need to adjust my screen. I'm also running on the wireless network today because I had to move everything over. So hopefully that'll work. Like that. I'm just going to dive into this. I really don't have a lot to say, really. We got some major progress on it last time we worked and everything like that. So, should be fun. Feel free to say hi in chat and all that mess as we go. Yes, okay. I don't need to learn more about policy and guidelines and all that crap. Okay, so where am I at with this thing? And what I really want to do at this point. So, start in the back here, I think. Kind of rework this whole centerpiece. She wasn't hollow initially. Actually, she was, and then she wasn't, and now she is again. So, I need to work on the stuff behind her. Just grab a couple of brushes and I'll put this up here, actually. And, yeah, something like that should be fine. Hopefully, the light doesn't start screwing with my white balance or anything like that. But you never know what's going to happen, really. So, oh, I need one more color. Forgot one. got like a dozen colors on the one I actually needed to start with. I don't have. That's brilliant. Alright. Okay. So, I still feel like there's maybe something I'm missing here with the everything. Double check the dashboard for a second. And all that stuff. Yeah, that's all fine. Alright, I just wanted to be sure that I have things going on where they need to be going on. Yeah. Alright. So yeah, I've got this section of the cliffs that I had to sort of like repaint because it wasn't there initially. And so now it's just sort of like playing catch up a little bit. I gotta repaint some areas basically. Make sure they're actually up to par for me. Just occurred to me that I probably could have put the camera a lot closer, so I'm going to be working mostly in the center of this today. I might do that, I might move that at some point. But for now, I just think I'll let it go. So yeah, that's that. I mean, it's just about making progress on this at this point. Getting some stuff taken care of. So this whole extra section that's rebuilt now, and it's like, well, now that needs the layers of paint that the other stuff had. Because I did a lot of stuff. I worked on this tree. The last time I played with this, I did a bunch of this stuff with the waterfalls. Of course, they need extra water lines, and I need to kind of glaze in some more white into that. But for the most part, it's where it needed to be for that. Man, I just dragged my hand right through that. That was brilliant. This big section in the back here. And I want to make sure it's colored right, but then I'm also going to probably add like a mist layer to it with some zinc white, which I also didn't cram on my palette, but I want to make sure the stuff in the background's good first before I worried about kind of misting over it. And if I thought enough ahead, I would have done it with spray paint back when the piece was still kind of the beginning of the piece, but I can't do much about it now. Lighter color for that edge. I actually didn't get to paint much this weekend thus far. I'm actually off all this week, so kind of just keeping it light to start and going from there. I've got all week to work on new and interesting pieces, so no need to try and force it all in the weekend the way I normally do when I actually have the extra time this week. I did finish one piece up yesterday. You can check the Instagram account for actually a picture of that. It's not totally done on that post, but it is very close. I should have the rest of that post up, or at least the finished version posted up sometime soon to all my other pages. Let's get a little quiet in there. pretty good. I had this cliff section in the back of that. Which is also kind of lacking some layers. I gotta clean her outline up as well. Because we had to do that, and then there was the sky on top of it. Now I gotta come right back on top of that section in order to get the layering right. But not a big deal, really. I might get maybe some grass or something in here. Oh, that's what that line is. I have to build this other. I have to get a bridge in here too. But for that, I'm going to need probably more of a brown. I have a post in here. Maybe even a color similar to her flesh tone. Swap for my thinner brush and everything like that, just to get that section right. And I'm going to be leaning, oh hello, that went everywhere, a little bit on my JC 100 as well for some thin. Normally I just use some water, but the texture of this canvas is a little rougher, so I need a little extra help with that. Really kind of concentrate here. I think I do want to zoom in as well, since I'm really doing some detailed stuff that isn't really going to show up super well on camera, especially on the webcam right now. Let's see if I can do that while it's live. I'm not sure if I can or not, but I'm going to give it a shot. It's different from my usual paintings. Yep, it's a collab. That's kind of why. Alright, so let me see if I can actually get a little closer with this. Down to closer to where I'm working. Even. Need to. Not that. Focus. Go. Fix the focus a little. Doesn't have to be quite as bright either. Something's off. There. That should help a little bit. No, too much. Contrast is really screwy here. That's what you get for a 10-year-old camera. I feel like that's a little bit better. I can always kind of tilt back up as I need to. Yeah, so things aren't going to get weird. What happened? Is that just on my end? It might have just been on my end. I think it just was. Okay. No, not a big deal. Alright, so now that I'm a little closer, you still can't really see anything going on here, which is kind of sad because that's where I'm working. But it's at least closer, so you can at least see that I'm not so much doing nothing, at least from that distance. So yeah. Sorry, I really don't have anything to say today. I kind of just really wanted to work, and I figured I might as well stream it since I'm here, you know. So I do want to clean her edge up, at least a little bit. Right now, I still want to get the still want to get the glaze in for the haze, but I can at least chisel out, or I kind of need her outer fleshy parts to be. Outer fleshy parts, that sounds so weird. So, it's been since October when we started this, and neither one of us can really nail down a title. I'm kind of getting closer, just with the idea and the story behind the piece and everything, but I still have a really hard time. And like, this thing is, I'm like really on top of stuff with titles, but I don't know with this one. It's still kind of vague. Probably because it is that collab, and it wasn't like 100% my idea in the first place. It was maybe like, I don't know, 10% my idea. So it's my idea to do the project, but as far as subject, I was like, something with a tree. That's about all I can think of. So that's kind of how it more or less came about. It was still a matter of just getting something that the two of us kind of mashed our styles well together. And I know she's not super happy with a lot of the skin tone as it is still, but that's alright. Making sure things are good. Kind of leaning sort of towards more fleshier reds, mixing some blue and some black and some red for this. Actually, it's I think it's a Quinn Violet that I'm doing with this. May have to get on the other side of the camera, so I apologize for that. Just need a different angle on it. Get that smooth edge that I'm looking for. I feel like this was a good night to stream. I get the feeling it's going to be a few guys. I'm already seeing some comments coming through. I'm not usually super motivated this time on a Sunday evening, but yeah, and since mentioned earlier, I didn't really get to work a ton this weekend on stuff, so this was a good moment to kind of work in a little more studio time, get some projects done, things like that. Oh, that looks a lot better. Yeah, that's nice. Alright, I think I'm going to have to scoot over and get my zinc white. Oils, nope, these are acrylics. As per like 90% of my work. May or may not do an oil buff finish, but the whole thing so far is all acrylic. White in here for my water. Right up on those edges where they're touching the grass a bit. This reminds me, I need to get a little more shadow blue underneath here for the grass, and then get a little more of a brighter color in the back. In there as well. Shadow blue for the water as well. This whole inner section is going to be in the shadow underneath her. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yellows. Where's my sap? There it is. Close to where I need to be. A little bit of blue for the rest of the way. It's almost the same color. It's just a little more yellow. Snag my what is that? The high flow, my dialerite high flow yellow, just for a little extra bit of fluidity for this. Not sure yet. It's also a lot redder than the cadmium. Yeah, I want to get a little bit of that. A lot of colors on my palette today. Mark and Miss Dusty in the comments. Hello there. Oh, hello. Hello, yellow. Just get a little bit of that highlight yellow in there. That's my buff for that upper highlight. layer. Tap some of that in the back. And again, I apologize, you guys can't really see the center of this right where I'm working right now. It's just an issue with the glare and the gamma with the camera and everything. Can't really do anything about it. I did try, though, just so you know. I didn't just go, hey, screw it. And it's like, no. I did actually work with this a little bit to try and help it, but not a ton that I could do. Yeah, it looks pretty good. At least as good as I think I want to get it for the time being. Give it some time to dry and then do my mist layer on top of it. Which is going to be a lot of like glazed zinc white to get that little bit of a haze. Should be pretty good. With a rough majority of that, I should say. Lacking a little bit of warmth back there, but I think that's okay. The yellow in the rocks in the back. Just a hint. So I had this path going around, and that path actually needs some warmer colors to it. So I can at least start doing that a little bit on this left edge. Apology 89's in comments, welcome. It's way too much of the red oxide, that's really overpowering that. So that. Get a lighter color, I think, to start with this. It's like a red oxide. We got, boom, hello. It's just going every which way. A little more of the yellow in there, though. Keep it brighter. Bring some of that light into here. Around sort of this upper part of the path. We were working on this. I was like, well, I can get an extra piece of this cliff to wrap around it. And I was like, well, how do you get it to trail down? Because there's all this movement, especially with the vines and everything kind of coming, you could say both up or down, or depending on which way you feel like they're coming from. We kind of imagine it as that she kind of took root in the valley, so it kind of like, it's both a mutual, like, she was like letting the valley kind of grow onto her, as well as she's putting everything of herself into it, so it's both, I guess, an up and a down in a lot of ways. But it's like, how do you kind of create that taper on this left side? And it was like, staircase. We're both at the same time, like, both, like, yep, that's what it needs a staircase. So now there's, rather than just being sort of like this sort of ambiguous hills coming up, there's actually a path now that's going to kind of go up behind her and then kind of loop back around, which is going to add an extra bit of depth to the whole piece, which is very, very exciting. Jeez. Whacking brushes off of everything today. Plus, the extra brown in the path is going to really help distinguish path and her. It's going to create some extra unification in the whole piece, which is nice. Also, sorry that I bumped the camera. I'm playing with this idea too of adding more like flatter stones. Actually, I like this idea too of adding making the path and the structures more brown, because I have a lot of these big boulders around, and I want to distinguish those as being different from the path. And the path maybe is more intentional. Let's put there, maybe a different type of stone there, a little more infrastructure to it. All that stuff I'm thinking about on a piece like this, or really any piece. It's just like what's in the world, what's it look like, how long's it been there, what's going to happen to it, is it going to be overgrown, or whatever. Like that. Oh, it's pretty nice. That's the thing with a piece this big. So much of it is just like piece on top of piece on top of piece. It's like there's like 1,000 little pieces all at once. All right. Just do not want to load here, do you? Still good over here? No drop frames. I think it's must just be on my end. Yeah, just double checking things. Knowing me, I'll forget, and I'll be just painting by myself, and the stream will have gone dead, and I won't notice. So I do try to make it a point to check. Originally, I was going to have these two figures on the lower left-hand side by the tree, and I think I want to move them up to where the path is. It's going to add a little extra epic scale to the whole piece. It just kind of arcs back and forth through here. Maybe gets a little bit bigger on this side. Wraps its way around the edge. Like so. These stones, I'll let these stones be gray. That's alright. Make the dirt of the path be that brownish color. Yeah, looks pretty good. I'll work some darks back into the shadows now. Black, blue, a little bit of violet. Not a ton, just a little. Because this whole left side will mostly be in shadow. The light's kind of coming from the upper right. In which case, now that I'm thinking about it, this tree needs to be a lot darker. I got a lot more lights towards the center that I don't need. So I have to kind of come back over top of that with some more darks. But that's okay, that's an easy thing to do. especially the little corners. Get the darks in there so that it really kind of tucks those edges apart. Pushes them around a little more. That way, the highlights that are on them kind of pop out a little bit extra. Maybe get some grass on that edge. Behind this section of the stairs, I want it to be a little dark, so the stairs themselves pop out. I gotta keep that other edge a little lighter. Different blues here. Push that shadow, everything back a little more. Okay, here. That's not bad. Let me get that bit of grass back. This whole piece is grass backward. That was really dumb, but it kind of makes me laugh. Just get a little bit, not a ton. Kind of growing on the edges a little. Moss hanging down a little. So it'll keep that edge brighter. Let it dribble down. That way the edges can stay a little brighter and not be totally overpowered compared to the rest of the rock. Looks pretty good. A little more bright in here and then the top of the path. My main highlight color for this whole piece has kind of been at least the sections I've been working on, I've been leaning on titanium buff, or just Titan buff, if you want to be short about it. So, kind of using that at least a little more sparingly. Don't want to draw too much attention here, but enough to get a little extra detail in everything. Really should be using my tablet off to my right side to monitor comments rather than having to keep looking up to the left. Well, that's a lot more like it. Yep, just need that little extra bit of finessing right there. Thanks guys, you seem to be enjoying the piece quite considerably. I'm enjoying working on it. I have been since started on it. Again, for those just joining in, this is actually a collaborative piece that I'm working on with a friend of mine. Because you guys know I don't do figures, so that's her whole thing. Is the figures, so it lets me be a little more free and work on a lot of kind of different landscape elements, which is always fun. Get a bit more of my darks and to the left side of the stairs now, and maybe a little bit underneath them as well. Get a sure there's that under layer actually jumping out. I'll come back in with a liner brush towards the end of the piece, but for the time being, just getting the base shapes in here. And the basic shadows and highlights really kind of goes a long way. Alright, how dry is this? That's pretty good. I bet I can come in with that zinc now. Alright, I can just get a little bit bigger of a brush than I have been using. Actually, I want something a little less stiff though. Hold on. There we go. I have this short flat, it's actually a watercolor brush, but I bought it to use for acrylics. Because every now and then you just need that extra short handle for stuff. And still have the bristles be nice and soft. I get some zinc white here. I'm just going to thin out with some water and some mediums. So this whole sort of back section is going to be covered in a little haze that maybe kind of tapers off as it goes up. Switch hands. Switch hands for the angle. And so I decided to paint her edges. There we go. Didn't mix quite enough of that. I'm trying not to lean too far in with my shoulder. I know how it can be with the camera. Also, again, I'm working that centerpiece, so you may not see much of this at all. It's just all this like misty haze in the background there. So you just don't see quite as much. I actually want to continue that towards this horizon in the back as well. Keep a little consistency across the piece. So it'll be a little hazier here. We'll have to blend out with it a bit. Yeah, it's pretty good. Of course, that whole section wasn't super dry yet, so that's not super ideal, but that's all right. Just push that here. I don't need quite as much of that there. Lift some of that off. Probably use my mop brush right about now. Mop. I kind of hold way back with it just to get a nice soft blend and just pull that all out. Dries it up a little more too. Oh, that looks better. Just a little more. Right in there. It just adds that little extra bit of haze in the back. Won't as much on this side, just kind of a little behind this tree. A little bit kind of on the upper part of these rocks. In the back. Not a ton. Again, should have done this earlier, but when you only work on a piece like this maybe once or twice a month for 6 months, things kind of get a little backed up in your mind. Like, oh yeah, I should have been doing that a while ago. Yeah, it's not bad. A lot more towards that path. And blend it out. Yeah, that's pretty good. Just enough, not a ton. It didn't totally make everything super white, just a little bit. I might do a second layer later, but I'm pretty happy with that. Just enough to give it a little extra something. Kind of looking at this hill here, I think this is going to need a little extra light, but I want to wait until her sections are done a little bit more. So, much as I really shouldn't be touching the figure, I do want to work on her base, because this is really kind of messy right now, and I kind of told her in advance I would work on this a little bit. Oh man, Round Brush Steve is in the comments. Holy crap! Wow, calling me legendary. You're legendary yourself, man. I haven't heard from you in a long time. Guess that's the thing, it's Sunday. It's like Sunday night, everyone's coming in, relaxing. Most people are going to work tomorrow. I'm not, but, you know, a little bit of something. So, the goal is to have the lower parts of the vines to kind of be greener, blend in with the sort of the background more, or the grass more. So I want to get first sort of a darkish green going. I'm going to establish some more vines coming out. I don't think this was intentional, but I really like this section here. Almost like looks like there's a vine kind of wrapping around. So I'm going to go ahead and make that a reality. Kind of comes from almost inside of her a little bit. I just realized how many weird innuendos there are with this piece. I was actually watching a one of the YouTubers I really like, a guy by the name of Snubby J, who created sort of a whole thing based on the Blue Man Group and the PVC pipe instruments and stuff. And so they invited him to like the production studio in New York to just like kind of wander around and like look at all the cool stuff, and the whole campaign was under the guise of "I blew myself," and it's like that's you can't call it that. That's ridiculous. I mean, it's BLUE like blue, but like still, it's like come on. It's just a little too obvious of an innuendo with that one. Getting a little bit of the fluidity in the vines here and seeing where they're going to sit more distinctively. And then as they get up closer to her, they're going to become more like wood and kind of blend into her skin tone. So should be interesting. But that once it's like up into her skin tone, I'll leave that to Rare to take care of that. I don't want to screw up anything that she's already done with that. But I can at least color match and get it pretty close. bluer, since we're actually on the left side, so we got to think about the shadow. Ah, the joys of a liner brush. Which, by the way, Steve, is just a long round, so you don't feel left out. That looks pretty good. Yeah, really leaning on my GAC 100, which is similar to glazing medium, but it's actually considerably thinner. It's kind of the thing they tell you to use. It's polymer medium, I think is actually what it's called, the more generic term, which is the thing that everyone's like, oh, don't mix with water, just use the polymer medium. It's like, well, you can use both actually. But as I mentioned before, since this canvas is considerably rougher than what I do normally, since I only put one layer of gesso on it because I'm an idiot. I tend to need a little more medium to fill in all the bumps and things on this individual one. Yes, that's a little more distinctive now. So I can actually kind of start thinking about that color. If I can start matching almost some of this flesh tone in here, I bet I can get this to blend in a lot more. And really kind of taper down a lot more nicely. Because I did sort of a base that's really similar to the wood of this tree, but a lot of that got covered up. Thanks, Rareth. Covered up all my hard work. So I have to kind of rework it a little bit and things like that. But I'm gonna check some comments. I don't think I brought a round brush over here. No, I got one. Whoops. And it fell in the water, which is exactly what I did not want to have happen with that brush. I wanted to keep this one dry. That's alright. It's stiff enough, that should be alright. Fighting Dragons. Oh, that's right, the Game of Thrones premieres tonight, isn't it? I don't watch the show, I've just been hearing about it left and right. Fill the painting with 10 medieval soldiers. Well, you just got here. Let me pan up for you here. Actually, hold on. Let me get this over. Haven't panned up for a while to really see her face or anything like that. Yeah, collaborative project with a friend. So she's kind of dead, kind of alive. So at least somebody's dead in this piece, I guess, to satisfy your curiosity. Actually, I'm wondering now, this isn't my call to make, but if her lips be grayer, to almost be like, no, maybe she isn't alive, so the color would drain out. But that's stuff for later. We kind of had like a vague idea going into this piece, and so much of this stuff going through has just been like, maybe this would look cool, maybe this would look cool. Here's a way to make it a little more dynamic, or what have you. I think her face is probably the part that's closest to being completed, at least for my friend's standards. Because I see a lot more shadow and definition in that, which is nice. So yeah, it's is what it is. I'm gonna tilt back down because I'm working down here. If in case you missed that, just scroll back through the video. So yeah, so I have her sort of inner cavity, which is gonna get a little more of a shadow coming in here. For this is gonna come in here more. It doesn't, where exactly that split is probably a little bit more to this point. Had a little bit more than I needed to get that darker in here. And while that does sort of fade in the background here, this needs to be a little more defined on that side. This is still pretty dark in here. I guess it needs to be pretty dark in here, rather. Get some of my shadowy blue to pull in again underneath it. That's closer. That's closer to where that needed to be. So now you see that big dynamic shift there between sort of the lighter section in the back and then that, and it gets real light again, which is nice. All right. So I want to get some darker greens into this section here. As we did when I kind of blend her with the ground a little bit, have the grass sort of growing up a little onto her. Almost like mossy. Give a place for those vines to kind of get to. Yeah, gotta tread lightly, but I think it'll be alright. If not, it'll get painted over because it's paint and that's what happens. Yeah, we have a greener section there. Just kind of glaze with that a little bit. That looks pretty good. Get sort of a browner color going. Kind of been leaning on my red oxide for the browns. Brown, gray, dark. Underneath this. A little bit of a definition point there. Not a ton. Most of this is going to fall back more. And sort of that cavity. Just kind of get a tiny bit of that light coming through. Yeah, it looks pretty good. That kind of gives her more of an edge. Maybe even give her a little yellow on that side for that cast lighting. You want sort of almost an orange, I think. Kind of play with the light of the trees a little bit in terms of where I want that. Pulling that almost for like a pinkish orange. fleshier on top of that green to push that cast lighting. That's good. It needs to be just a little bit brighter though. I'll lighten it with some zinc. That way it's more incremental. That's good. Yeah, that way the highlight's more fleshy, but the underlying tone's more that green. So I'm not losing the integrity of her still being a figure. Work some blues back in there for those shadows. And it's sort of the weird thing, is like I may not be able to get the good structure of the figure, but for whatever reason I'm actually fairly decent at mixing skin tones. Get a little more of that just pure violet in there. I find that violets and like sap green tend to go really nicely together. In order to get a nice balance of sort of shadow to highlight, and the colors kind of work really well together. Just sort of that violet to green, violet to a deep green. Nothing more than painting highlights. Well, she's shadowed directly underneath her, so what I imagine what you're looking for is that edge right next to the shadow where it's going to be a lot brighter. I could do that a little bit. I don't want to go nuts with it, because I'm still kind of really still be reaching a little bit to be doing that at this point. But I actually done a lot of yellow highlights. And every time I do the layer and it dries, I'm like, it wasn't bright enough, I gotta go again. And I'd rather be building it up slowly like that than trying to, yeah, so getting that bit of an edge right outside of the shadow. Yeah, I'll push it a little bit brighter, why not? Yeah, right in there. And right on the crest of this hill, you see it more. Yeah, see, now you can see that defined area right outside of the shadow beneath it. Plus that fleshier yellow, it's going to look a little bit nicer into that edge. There. Got the edge to pop out for you. To be fair, it needed done eventually, but you know, everything like that. I wonder if it might be worth almost pulling some dark vines underneath her a little bit. Maybe not so much that it crosses over into the light, but just some stuff underneath. Almost black, just kind of creeping in. Could be. I'll hold off on that though. Just for that. Brush with some of this brighter color. this point it's just sort of some messy glazing with what's on the brush. Maybe even a little Indian yellow in here to brighten things up. Okay, where'd that liner go? There it is. Push more blue into the lower vines. I'll get a little more of the yellow on top of it then. Just enough to give it a little extra finesse. Push it down even more. You know, I wasn't going to stream that long tonight, but I feel like I could do this all night at this point. Somebody just like really concentrated on this. I mean, which is a good thing, don't get me wrong. I just didn't think I'd be going this long, actually. Push around that. That feels pretty neat. That feels pretty good. Kind of just doing a sample section. So I don't know if she's going to like it or not. She might. Like, now I was thinking something else. I'm like, alright, whatever. Again, we're going to be getting back together, the two of us, on Tuesday to plug a little more time into this. Actually, the past month or so, put more time into this than we have in like the past 3 months, so it's generally a good thing, I think. Sort of brown and black thing going on here. Some more sticks or something in here. I'm not as big of a fan of this sharper edge that I did. Seriously, it just dropped the brush, just bounced right out of the water bucket. That's ridiculous. Well, I'll try to have this drink sitting here. Pretty diluted now. Chakore, salam. Salam and good evening, my friends. Sorry, I just had an Aladdin moment. Nice chatting with you guys as always. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat about this painting or others. I'm kind of just plugging away, doing little bits of stuff. Probably start playing with the water a little bit again here. It does need a little extra, some extra line work, some stuff. So I'm going to lean into my zinc white again. Just play with some lines in and around the falls. Nothing major, just enough to kind of pull some movement. So it's not just random falls, actually like some build up to it. Also, if you ever wonder why there's long handles on brushes, so you can actually stand back and do stuff like this. Doesn't make a lot of sense for small pieces, but for big pieces it really is crucial to have that extra bit of working room. Almost add a little bit of blue into this just to tone it down. A little shadow blue. By the way, the shadow blue I keep talking about is colored by Golden called Smalt. Smalt hue in particular. Not that there is like smalt and smalt hue, it's just smalt hue, but it's what allows me to get this nice subtle bluish shadow without completely destroying the color underneath. It's kind of become my secret weapon for a lot of things, in paintings, shadows in particular. Probably going to go over the falls another time with either some zinc or some titanium just to get a little extra push with them. I may add some yellow into them as well, or even some of that blue just to kind of give them a little extra, because right now they're like really stark white and I don't want to have that. Actually, even some of the Titan buff to tone that down a little bit would be probably ideal. Fluidity. Need a little dip. Got a lot of paint on the back of the brush and not enough on the little tips here. Salam and good evening, my friend. Please come closer. A little too close. Oh, dang. I really have mixed feelings about the new movie. I want to be excited, and I am, but I'm also kind of skeptical. Yeah, that's looking a little bit better. Carefully scrubbing around with the zinc white. Actually, maybe you can help me out with this if you're still watching. What does salam actually mean? I'm not really sure. I mean, I'm sure it's quick Google search or whatever, but I'm painting. I'm not searching right now. push here. That's good.
I have this bend in here where I don't have any falls, so I want to try and push some more white there.
It just kind of warps around it. Hoop. Hoop. That. Kind of see the flow of the water. Maybe it's getting a little faster even as it approaches some of these.
I still may or may not put some river rocks in here too. Haven't quite decided. I feel like for some of these falls I almost have to.
Just trying to get this bit of flow coming off the top of them a bit.
Yeah, that's good. That's what that needed, is that just a little bit of motion there with the brush. Should probably tilt down a little. So I'm starting to get closer to the bottom. A lot of my medium's dried up at this point, so
Kind of just relying on the water. I don't need much of it. Kind of take a knee here. From these edges.
also when you hold back further, because a lot of times when you're close, you almost be too rigid with it. You lose a bit of fluidity in painting it when you're holding real close, and especially with me, my hands shake a little. So holding back actually it takes sort of the natural shake of my hand and to some degree actually amplifies it, but it keeps things at least a little more interesting for the piece. Try not to overwork this, but I'm not really happy with it. Thin it out even. Might push a little more of a fall in here a bit later. Maybe even arc it around. Create a larger stone in that. A bit later. That way, rather than just this way, kind of cuts this like both ways there. Rather like that. I'll push that for the next layer.
Just a little bit left here. Got so many projects going on right now. Stuff around the house projects and studio projects, like 4 different studio projects going right now. And I want to get a bunch of videos recorded this week if I can. I know I'm going to run out of time for stuff. I always seem to. More flow here. Looks pretty good.
Push a little more movement around. Oh, I'm pretty happy with that. What about you guys? How are you guys doing? Translates peace. Awesome. I don't think I knew that anyway. Like, my brain's not really working today, I guess. It's like a salam being the Arabic. So I think that what's Hebrew is shalom, so same root, I suppose. Right. I think I actually want to push the dark, like the innermost dark of this sort of inner flesh wall to almost a black, to just push that contrast a little further. So. Just get that there. Mostly, this side's pretty much good. This side that's probably a little too red still. Could almost probably mix some blue in here and be alright with it. Just a bit. And some of the blue. This upper edge now that I want to be a little more distinct. That feels a little better. I wish I remembered if we wanted this to be just the crease in her back, or actually sort of like a big crack. Back crack. Kind of coming in. I'll have to figure that out later. I think I like the idea of almost being like frail and like crumbly. That's kind of how it is down here. It's almost like a shard of glass, kind of, and like a breakage point. Well, what else can I do? Kind of want to ease into this path on the right here and kind of clean these little rocks sticking up on that edge. Might be worth it. And then I think I might call it a night. Get some blue and black. My shadow blue. Just put a little extra definition on these. Start kind of finding their shape a bit more. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, they're going to have a shadow for each of them. Which is what we have this way. So it should kind of come down like that. that. Man, I love shadows. I really do. I don't know why. Just something about dropping shadows in. It's just super satisfying. It's the same way that Mr. Roundbrush over there enjoys his highlights. I mean, I enjoy highlights too, but to me, shadows are just a little bit more fun. Makes everything pop. Speaking of highlights, though, I'm going to come up here again. This is bugging me, not having this super defined. Grab some of my white. That's good. That's good enough for my brain tonight, I think. Let me actually zoom back out here, or at least maybe just pull the camera back out. I'm not sure what actually I'm going to need to do here to just pull this out. Yeah, that should be fine. Yeah. So yeah, in progress, collaborative piece I'm working on with a friend of mine. Pretty cool stuff. I think I'll throw a couple of Instagram posts up of this area I worked on tonight, this intersection. It's an intersection. Intersection between creepy and fantasy. Alright. So the staircase on the left and then this path on the right and how I kind of dropped all that in. So I think I'll put a couple of Instagram posts up of that. Should be fun. I don't have a lot else to say. My cord's only going so far here, so I'm gonna need to get some things on the other side of the studio. So today I'm just gonna wrap things up. Thanks guys for checking out. How long have I been streaming today? I don't know. About an hour and a half. That's actually kind of right where I wanted to be. So as always, this has been Cinderblock Studios. Be sure to subscribe for more stuff like this. Support on Patreon if you're able to. Like the video, like on Facebook, follow on DeviantArt and Instagram. All of those, by the way, are just Cinderblock Studios. Twitter is @CinderblockArts. And yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing today. I think I'm just going to pop in a movie and relax for the rest of my night. So, as always, this has been, and I'll see you guys next time.